Well, hi, everyone. So we have
Hello.
a pretty special session now. We've got Shai Frank, our head of product, who you've been here for 5, 6, 7 years now?
7.5.
Yeah, so knows the product inside and out, is in charge of the product team. And so what we want to do is give this as a time for all of you to ask questions of Shai, make them really hard-hitting. He's really
No
excited for that.
curveballs, please.
It's up to you guys. I'll start you off with an easy one. Now, we have Emily and Jess with microphones on the sides. So after this quick question, please raise your hand. They'll come over, and we'll get through a bunch of questions here. So Shai,
Yes.
yesterday in your keynote, you had a lot of that celebration emoji. A lot of new, cool, exciting features. Which one are you most excited about?
Well, I love all my children. Look, I think we announced a lot of AI-related features and agents. Each one is exciting to me. I think the AI Decisioning Studio is where kind of like everything comes together. It's an entirely new module. We have big plans around that. So we just released V1. I would say you mentioned my product team, and many of them are not here because some of them are like stuck in Israel and stuff like that. And I told them as we were planning for Connect, is like, we're not doing mock-ups on stage, right? Everything we show has to be real product, useful in a live demo environment. And they really killed it. And the AI Decisioning Studio was kind of like one of the biggest efforts. So I think it's kind of like if I'm continuing the analogy of kids, it's kind of like the toughest pregnancy to deliver that child. But I would say that one of the features that most excites me is not even AI, right? So I think liquid and data connections could be really transformational. So you can take simple emails and turn them into complete automated programmatic machines that just transform and personalize. And it's very easy to achieve. So yeah, this is another one that excites me.
A lot of exciting things.
Yes.
Yes. All right, who wants to ask our first question? I did the first one. That's supposed to like break the ice, so now it's up to you. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, Emily will pass over a microphone.
Hey. So what is the...
Who is talking? Where am I looking? Oh, okay. Hi.
Hi, everyone. So what is the number one thing that Optimove does better than the competitors? And what is the number one thing that you guys think that the closest competitors do better than you?
Getting started right away. I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have 3 hours? The industry is talking a lot lately about AI decisioning, and many other CDP vendors and customer engagement platforms are investing more and more in their decisioning capabilities. I think mainly because the channel execution capabilities have become kind of table stakes, right? It's hard to innovate in email and push message and SMS in core execution capabilities. There's always incremental improvements there, but it's kind of like plateauing. And with more first-party data than ever and more real-time data signals than ever, I think a lot of vendors are going into the brain part of execution. I think what makes us unique is this infinite feedback loop between like very rich data sets, historical, contextual, predictive, as well as real-time behavior, and how it all ties all the way to this multi-channel engagement. And the fact that we can measure and attribute performance of campaigns in a really scientific manner, right? I mentioned it yesterday in my keynote. We see a lot of other vendors that are investing in decisioning capabilities, but still measure the performance of their campaigns with like last click attribution, right? So think about you're nurturing a lapsed customer or a churned customer for a while, send them emails and push messages and SMS, whatever, for a month. And then one day they wake up and they reactivate. And if you do last click attribution, 100% of that reactivation goes to the email they received in that morning, and 0 to this entire nurture series. Now, that's the easiest way to measure things, so I get why everyone is doing it. We also have that metric to report on. But if you want your AI agents, your decisioning agents, to make good choices based on that measurement, that's not a good idea, right? Because that email in the morning might have been the worst email in the entire series. Who knows, right? So I think the fact that we have invested and keep on investing for many years in making control groups representative and not random. So especially as you go small with audiences and you make more personalized, if you just randomize 10%, you might oversample some of your VIPs in the wrong side of the equation or undersample them. So we invest a lot of time in making control groups truly representative. And then every campaign is an experiment with test and control. And we run a lot of statistical rigor to make sure that kind of like the results are statistically significant. And then when that feeds into AI decisioning, then you know that your agents are kind of like rewarding themselves with the correct outcomes. So they're optimizing for like true outcomes and not misleading. So I can go on, but I think kind of the data, the measurement, the attribution, and the fact that we do decisioning across the entire marketing plan, from audience to journey selection to offer selection to content permutation, is pretty unique to us.
I think there was a second part of that question as well.
Was there?
Yeah, but good try. I think it was competitively. Can we repeat the question, please?
I was trying to avoid.
You were doing a really good job. No,
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you dodged the question quite well.
Not intentionally. Sorry, I kept on yapping. Sorry.
No. So, what is the number one thing that your closest competitors do better?
Oh, okay.
Right now.
The number one thing that the closest competitor is doing better. It's a very vulnerable question. It's a tricky question because we have a lot of close competitors in different sides of in different industries and in kind of like competitor on data, competitor on engagement, competitor on gamification. I think we have a very strong competitor that has been leading the market with gamification and loyalty. And they've been doing a really great job. I think I'm really excited about the new loyalty and gamification product that we just recently launched. I think it's state of the art and modern, but the burden is on us to prove it, right? It's new, it's just launched. They've been doing really well. They gain a lot of traction and a lot of growth as a result, and kudos to them.
Great. Who's next? He's right here. Yeah, here we go, right up front.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
What is the most difficult challenge you are faced or you are facing working with artificial intelligence?
There are a few challenges, right? So I've been doing product management for many years, and traditional product development was kind of deterministic, right? You have an idea, you write a spec, you work with your designers, you work with your engineers, they give you effort estimations, they're never true, but you already know it. And you can anticipate for that. And it's pretty deterministic. You say, okay, this is gonna take me, I don't know, 6-8 weeks to build. Eventually it takes you 12 weeks to build, fine, you launch it and you iterate on that. So it's pretty predictable. AI is very different, right? You experiment with all kinds of models and all kinds of capabilities. Sometimes it works really great and sometimes it's not. And you have to kind of reiterate on the models and it's hard to anticipate. And it's also, with the industry moving in this pace, it's hard to know the art of the possible. So as we are building features, like as we have been building content intelligence, right? I mentioned yesterday, kind of we're tagging all the templates and we understand the different content types and how can they fuse this data back into customer profiles and stuff like that. We started the project by using GPT 4.0 as the underlying model. And we invested a lot of engineering kind of to optimize and build kind of like around that and making sure that the results that we're getting are prompting and embedding and all these words into the capabilities of that model. And then as we go through this project, OpenAI releases GPT-5, and then 5.1, and then 5.2, and then Google comes up with Gemini 3 and 3.1 Pro and Pro Max and whatever. And every model is better, allegedly, and cheaper and faster, allegedly, but then it has different capabilities, and it needs to be prompted and engineered in a different way. And the way it consumes tokens is different, so how it costs and how it performs. So we have to kind of like retrofit, even though, and it adds to the unpredictability, right? We thought this is going to take a certain amount of time. As we're 70% all the way through, models are changing, and like, oh, wait a second, the same prompt is generating something different. Arguably better, but different. Now we have to retrofit our tests to make sure that kind of like, so anyway, there are many challenges in working with AI. The fun part is that it could be really fun to play around kind of like with the edge of technology, right? So as everyone is in Anthropic is using is launching new models, and we have a team that's kind of like, oh, I just listened to this announcement. It could be really useful to what we're doing, and let's try that. And then engineer was like, but we're almost done. You want to start over? Like, okay, so let's release something and then do another branch of this product. And so it's fun. It's a different time to be in product and engineering. And what we're trying to do is kind of deliver value to our customers. So when we see both of them kind of converge, that's the fun part. It comes with challenges, but you know, that's why we're here.
Great. Just coming over here.
In one of the live presentations, when you were sharing your screens, one of your presenters were, there was on a menu, you had something that I haven't seen before, and it was benchmarking in beta. What is that?
So we've been rolling out a benchmark report. So if we have enough clients in a specific vertical or sub-vertical in a specific region, that we don't see enough that there aren't many outliers there, and we can anonymize the data in a good enough fashion, then we can show a benchmark report and show you, oh, your average gross revenue per player is above or below your peers, or any other KPI, right? Or deposit, your churn, your reactivation. Not every one of our clients, so this feature is live, right? But not everyone sees it, either because there is some unique things going on with the data, some very unique KPIs that are customized for them, because we know we can customize KPIs for every client. So if you have a very unique KPI that we don't have enough peers, there's nothing to compare, so I wouldn't show you that. Or if you are very dominant in a specific market, then the benchmark is heavily skewed towards your data, so there's no point in showing them. Or if you cannot anonymize it in a way that doesn't reveal which customer data is used there. So anyway, but it could be useful, and it goes through a lot of scrutiny on how we anonymize it, don't expose, kind of like, how can I infer, oh, I'm a small player, I see the benchmark in my market, and Tain is like the strongest one, so it's probably their data. No, won't do that, right?
Thanks.
But you can talk to your customer success manager and ask for it, and then we can say, well, okay, or no, you can't, sorry.
Great. Over here, and then we'll come over here. Oh, yeah, wherever. I don't know. Just
me now.
Whoever speaks first.
For your clients, what do you think is the most underutilized tool or aspect from Optimove? And where do you think the future of, say, CRM will be going in the next 2 or 3 years outside of AI? Because that's a common answer, I guess, for most companies.
I would slightly rephrase your question, if you don't mind, like a good politician, right?
Okay.
The way I read your question is very similar to what is the lowest hanging fruit for our customers to adopt that they might be not using today. Similar enough, right? So while a lot are using it, I still see a lot not using it enough, which is what we used to call self-optimizing campaigns, and now we call it offer decisioning. And the reason I say that is because when I talked about all of these AI decisioning capabilities, right? So, you know, you want to discover your next best audience, or make sure that if customers are eligible to multiple campaigns and journeys and they overlap, then the system will choose the right one for them. These kind of things are working really well, but they require a bit of a leap of faith, right? Because my entire talk track was about why are you investing so much time in creating mutually exclusive audiences? Don't do it. Just relax your constraints and let the audience overlap. The system will make sure that people are not being overexposed or getting conflicting messages. That's a bit of a leap of faith, that you have to trust the system to do that, and people are reluctant. Some people are reluctant to kind of relinquish control. However, offer decisioning doesn't require any leap of faith. The point is that you're already running a promotion to a specific audience, and you already have other promotions set up in your systems, right? So let's take a simple example, an e-commerce example, just for the sake of the argument, right? We have a segment that we used to offer 30% discount to this segment for whatever reason, because we feel that they're in a risk of churn and we want to give them an aggressive offer, and that's the way to do it. And it makes sense, but why won't you try a 20% and a 10% also, right? Those promotions exist in your system because you're using them elsewhere. And the email templates that feature those promotions probably already exist. So there's not much lift in kind of like generating these new options. If you just add them in Campaign Builder, literally 3 clicks, just add another action, add another action. So you start with 30%, add 20% and 10% into the mix. And the system, and make sure that you're optimizing for the right KPI, right? That's the important part. Are you optimizing for gross sales or for profit? Let's say you want to do it for profit. Then offer decisioning will try, and eventually over time, send a lower discount to customers who are still buying. And that's pure profit, right? It's very easy to do that. And we have clients that do that, and they see huge uplift, both in revenue or in profit, depends. And that's very easy to do across e-com, across gaming, sports, everywhere, right? So you already have all the promotions, just add a couple more into an existing campaign, probably a lower generosity offer, so you don't want to go over budget, you want to save. That's very easy to do, and it is my belief that there's no reason why you wouldn't do that for all of your promotional campaigns. Every single one of them. Except for, if it's above the line and you have TV ads and stuff like that, so you probably can't do that, but everything that's more personalized, easy, and there are real numbers and real profits and margins that you can make out of it. And so I would encourage every one of you to do that. That's the lowest hanging fruit to me. And we have a session about optimizing generosity later on. Mm-hmm. I forget in which room. I think that one.
It is, yeah.
All right?
Yeah. Jacob?
Jacob. He's going to throw me a
ball. Yeah, okay. Hey, Shai. I wanted to ask you about the liquid data connections piece. I thought you said something about AI making like the data connections easier because it can kind of scrape off of sites or so. Explain kind of the difference between the current offering of data connections and the next level.
So the current offering of liquid and data connections, in short, right? Liquid is the language that you use inside the templates to invoke all kinds of conditions, right? So personalization tags, simple ones, or like if-else statements, or much more comprehensive than that. Content variations, like I showed yesterday, is using a liquid tag that's called vary, and we see the demo. Data connections is the capability to fetch content or data that doesn't live inside of Optimove into into a message in Optimove, right? So you don't have to worry about creating customer attributes for whatever, right? So an easy example would be, I have a list of promotions. Every promo has a name, it has an expiration date, it has its own terms and conditions, and all kinds of other properties. It's a table. Let's imagine a table that has all of these promos. And each country or each state has its own promos that are available for it or not. So data connections allow you to say, if the customer profile country equals Spain, then fetch the terms and conditions and the expiration date and the language from that table that sits outside of Optimove and put it in a template. And it works at the time of the campaign execution. It fetches it in real time. So that's current offering. What we're looking to do is make this process easier, right? So use AI to help you with the liquid code and the syntax, right? That's the kind of the easiest use of AI there, because some people might kind of like, even though it's pretty simple, but some people see, all this syntax of liquid and kind of like they tend to get scared. It's not that scary, but still. So AI is very easy with that, right? So I describe in my own language, I want to create variations of 3 promotions, and I want to fetch the right promo from that table that is called like that, and just generate the liquid syntax that does that. So that should make adoption easier. Then down the line, right, can we use AI to fetch data that you didn't pre-prepare? So like I described, a table of promotions that I can fetch from. What if you don't have a table? What if they're all stored in some database? I could use AI to query the database and structure the data in a way that can be imported into a template. So these are kind of like our thoughts for the future. And we'll be happy to use you or others as design partners for these things. Every question comes with a tax.
All right, we have time for one more question over here.
So we've learned a lot in the last day and a half. And what would you say would be like, if you could make sure all of us left with one thing, what would be that one thing you'd want us to leave with and take back?
Oh, wow. Well, I now hear Ronnie, our VP of marketing, sitting here, say positionless, say positionless. So you have to be more positionless. That's, okay, now I paid that tax. I think, to me, right, one of the things that I've been seeing in the last few months, or feeling a lot of FOMO, right? I'm reading LinkedIn and Twitter and other blog posts and podcasts, and everyone is describing, oh, look at my cool workflow. I'm using Claude Code, and it runs my errands for me, and it produces my podcasts for me, and I give it access to my bank account, and it does magic there. Like, okay, that's cool. And there is definitely transformation in our lives happening as we live them right now. And I'm trying to control the FOMO, and I think what I would take is that we need to find how AI can help us in what we're trying to achieve, rather than us being kind of like slaves to the progress. Like, I don't have to run 17 claw bots agents that have their own social network while I'm sleeping, right? But as I do my job, and as I create customer experiences, we want marketers to elevate themselves from having to do the grunt work that makes them slow and makes them anxious. So the thing I would take is that AI is now, or technology in general, but AI in particular, is now allowing us, finally, to invest more time in the fun part of the job, coming up with creative ideas, coming up with cool experiences. How can we engage with our customers in a unique way, and let technology and AI help us spend more time there than on building 17 different email templates and QAing all their links and images and asking for engineering to put some pop-ups in our website. So this is where technology can really help you, even if you're not running 17 agents while you're sleeping. And Optimove is the partner for you on that journey. So that would be my main takeaway, right? If you have to choose a partner that takes you on this journey of how AI can help me with my professional life, we're here for you.
Well, that's a perfect ending. So thank you, everyone, and thank you, Shai. And Shai is around, and
I am around.
He's around. He's available over email. He loves answering questions.
Yes.
So please reach out.
Or my agents can.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you.